He failed at his first company. His second idea was rejected by everyone. Now LinkedIn has 1 billion users. Welcome to Story Studio 91. Reid Hoffman sat in a coffee shop in Mountain View, California. The year was 2002. He was 35 years old. He had just launched a social networking site called SocialNet. It failed completely. Nobody used it. Investors lost money. Reid felt like a failure. He had spent years building SocialNet. He believed people would use the internet to find romantic partners and friends. He was wrong. Too early. Wrong execution. The company shut down. Reid was devastated. Most entrepreneurs would have quit after such a public failure. But Reid saw something others missed. He had learned what did not work. He understood social networking better than almost anyone. Reid decided to try again, but this time, he would focus on professional networking, not personal relationships. That pivot led to LinkedIn. Today, LinkedIn has over 1 billion users and is worth over $26 billion. Reid was born in 1967 in Palo Alto, California. His parents were lawyers. They valued education and critical thinking. Reid grew up in Silicon Valley before it became the center of the tech world. Reid was intellectually curious. He loved philosophy. He loved big ideas about how society works, how people connect, how systems function. Reid went to Stanford University and studied symbolic systems and cognitive science. He was fascinated by how minds work, how people make decisions. After Stanford, Reid went to Oxford University for a master's degree in philosophy. He studied there for 2 years. But Reid did not want to be an academic. He wanted to build things that impacted the real world. In 1994, Reid returned to Silicon Valley. The internet was just beginning. Reid believed the internet would change everything about how humans interact. He wanted to be part of that revolution. Reid joined a small startup called Fujitsu. He worked in product development. But the company was too slow, too corporate. Reid was impatient. He wanted to move faster. In 1997, Reid co-founded his first company, SocialNet. The idea was ambitious. SocialNet would help people find romantic partners, friends, and professional connections online. Reid believed that the internet could make human connection more efficient, that you could use data and algorithms to match compatible people. It was a visionary idea. But it was too early. In 1997, most people did not even have internet access. Those who did used it primarily for email and basic information. The idea of building a profile online and connecting with strangers seemed weird, dangerous even. SocialNet struggled to gain users. Reid pivoted multiple times. He tried different approaches. Nothing worked. By 2000, Reid shut down SocialNet. It was a failure. But Reid did not waste the experience. He analyzed what went wrong. He realized that people were not ready to share personal information online for dating or friendship. The trust was not there. But what about professional connections? What if you created a network where people could connect for career opportunities, business relationships, and professional growth? That felt safer, more valuable, more practical. In 2002, Reid started building LinkedIn in his living room. He brought in a small team. They worked nights and weekends. The concept was simple. Create an online resume. Connect with colleagues, classmates, and business contacts. Leverage your network to find jobs, hire talent, and grow your career. Reid invested his own money. He convinced a few friends to invest. But most investors said no. They had just watched SocialNet fail. Why would LinkedIn be different? Reid heard no constantly. But he believed professional networking was different from social networking. He kept building. LinkedIn launched in May 2003. Reid invited 350 of his closest contacts to join. He asked them to invite their contacts. The growth was slow. Really slow. After the first month, LinkedIn had only 4,500 users. Most social networks in 2003 were focused on college students and personal connections. Friendster and MySpace were exploding. LinkedIn felt boring in comparison. But Reid was patient. He understood that professional networking required a different strategy. Quality over quantity. Slow, steady growth. Building trust. Reid made strategic decisions that others thought were crazy. He made LinkedIn profiles public and searchable by Google. This meant anyone could find you, even if they were not on LinkedIn. Other social networks kept everything private. Reid believed openness would drive growth. He was right. People started creating LinkedIn profiles just to control what appeared when someone Googled their name. This drove massive organic growth. Reid also focused on value. LinkedIn was not about entertainment. It was about career advancement. Reid added features like recommendations, endorsements, and job postings. He made LinkedIn essential for recruiters and job seekers. By 2005, LinkedIn had 1 million users. By 2006, it was profitable. By 2007, it had over 10 million users. LinkedIn became the dominant professional networking platform. In 2011, LinkedIn went public. The stock soared. LinkedIn was valued at over $10 billion. Reid, who had failed with SocialNet and been rejected by investors, was now worth billions. But Reid did not stop. He remained executive chairman of LinkedIn while also becoming one of the most successful venture capitalists in Silicon Valley. He invested in Facebook, Eben, and dozens of other successful startups. Reid became known as the Oracle of Silicon Valley. In 2016, Microsoft bought LinkedIn for $26.2 billion. It was one of the largest tech acquisitions in history. Reid had built LinkedIn from a rejected idea in his living room to a $26 billion company. Today, LinkedIn has over 1 billion users in more than 200 countries. It is the world's largest professional network. Reid once said something powerful. An entrepreneur is someone who will jump off a cliff and assemble an airplane on the way down. Reid jumped off the cliff with SocialNet. It crashed, but he learned how to build the airplane. When he jumped again with LinkedIn, he knew how to fly. Reid also said, "If you are not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you have launched too late." LinkedIn's first version was basic, ugly even, but Reid launched it anyway. He improved it based on user feedback. Perfection kills progress. Launch and iterate. Failure teaches more than success. Reid learned more from SocialNet's failure than most people learn from success. He understood what did not work, what users wanted, what investors feared. That knowledge made LinkedIn possible. Your failures are not wasted. They are education. Timing matters, but persistence matters more. SocialNet failed partly because it was too early. But Reid did not give up on the core idea of online networking. He waited. He adjusted. He tried again. If your idea fails because of bad timing, do not abandon it. Wait for the right moment. Keep building. If this story inspired you, please like the video and subscribe to Story Studio 91. Share this with someone whose first business failed. Share it with someone afraid to try again after rejection. Remind them that Reid Hoffman's first company failed completely. His second idea was rejected by every investor, but he built LinkedIn, sold it for $26 billion, and created a platform with 1 billion users. Your failure is not your ending. It is your education. Keep building.